What's up, bozos? Let's go over the coolest shortcuts I found in Mario Kart World. Pretty much all of these you can't do in other games, which is why I think they're super cool and unique to this game. And a lot of them aren't even done in the world records, and I think some of them will be someday. Perhaps someday soon. So let's take a look at the first one from Shy Guy Bazaar. I'm charging up, getting on this rail. Why am I doing all this extra stuff? This looks like it's kind of slower. I'm hopping on rails, going out of my way. This took me a long time to do, but look at that! You cut off this entire 180 turn. That's a pretty good cut. And it doesn't seem like you have to go that far out of your way to get this alignment. It may be worth it. I did race against my own ghosts and it seemed to be a little faster. The world record doesn't do this yet. TBD, I think that perhaps maybe they will. Also, another shortcut on Shy Guy Bazaar that's super cool. I do not know for sure if it's faster, but it's cool as fuck. You can get onto this rail and this shortcut just lasts for like freaking corner of the map. Going all the way up to this like shortcut exclusive area that is awesome. Style points at the very least. You know, I don't know if maybe you can combine it with the other shortcut if you figure out how to hop down early and jump across the rails and, you know, take that 180 shortcut, but I'm not putting all the time and effort into that. That's for you speedrunners to do. Another shortcut that I really liked and I think shows a lot of potential here. I saw this pole and I said, you can fucking jump on that shit. Let's take a look. I don't even have to charge jump for this one. I don't even have to charge jump. You just hop and you touch the pole and you trick off the pole and you can get across that. And that's there on purpose. Like the physics in this game are wacky. You can just like touch objects and keep flying around. Now you may be looking at this one and the next one and saying, well, you're not beating your ghost. So is it really that impressive? Did you really find a shortcut? Well, that's the world record. They're faster at everything than me. And the fact that I actually kind of kept up, I think shows that this is, you know, potentially faster. Now the next one, I do not know if this will be faster, but you know, you can take a really tight line by taking the inner cliff and shooting yourself out. Yeah, this didn't really put me behind the world record at all. So I think that there's some potential for this one to be meta. And you know, what if you can fling out of here and then go into the snow and use a mushroom in the snow? Probably won't be faster than, you know, the most viable mushroom option, but Salty Speedway. This is really what Birdo was going for, but failed to do in the Nintendo Direct. Let's take a look. So, you know, one of those complicated places to get. Hop on a rail, hop on a wall, you got a left hop out of there, and then you can get this glider ramp. And so you have all this added elevation, but the glider ramp kind of makes up for it, kind of slowly brings you back down. This may not be faster, but maybe it is, and it's super cool. And then you can kind of fly right into this shortcut. I don't know if that's the best spot to use a mushroom or not. There's also another really cool, probably not shortcut because you have to ride this outer wall. Riding the outer wall is not ideal, but you can hop to another rail and then you do cut off a bit of the course and you get a better line into this section. It's even faster if you can actually make it onto that shed and you get a couple coins. It's actually quite a good route for coins too. Coins don't seem to be that important in world records. Like they are skipping coins and still getting world records. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Airship Fortress. This is just a seemingly optimal way to take the first few rails. Let's take a look. Hop off this one. You gotta hold down when you hop off that. And you gotta get this red one because that line is too tight. It's just too tight. Now this one was really complicated. I actually split it into two videos because I didn't get it in one. But when you hop off this first rail, you gotta hold down. You gotta down trick off of the rail. And then this next part, you have to hop off the rail just as you're going straight so that you don't go onto the upper path. Then you immediately have to hold a charge jump to get onto the next one. So it's actually pretty hard to pull off. I didn't pull off this all in one video, but I feel like that's the optimal way to do that. And look at all these new strats that we're getting. Sick. Now, Great Question Block Ruins might be like my favorite course so far because it has some sick shortcuts. So this first one, you're cutting off a ton of off-road, shooting yourself off this rail and onto another shortcut, this double shortcut. Insane. The world record's doing it. I'm actually trailing the world record in this one. And that rail on that turn is super tight. And if you don't have a mushroom, you can still take that rail. I tried hopping off the ramp. It didn't work. What you got to do is hold your charge jump while you drop off the ramp. Then you can hop onto the rail. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. Shroomless. Other cool things on this map. There's a hidden ramp that you can take with a mushroom. Not the best spot to use a mushroom, but pretty cool. You get a little too much air here. But there's also a similar path that you can take shroomless here, which is super freaking sick that I learned from the world record. You charge jump off here, you boost off the ring, And then you can just kind of fuck around until you get back on the track, and it's actually not that hard. It looks super complicated, it's actually not. I'm obsessed with the physics here. You know, and then there's this shortcut that I was trying to pull off. I was racing the world record, but it didn't turn out to be a better mushroom spot than what the world record does, which is kind of just this lame grass cut. But this one looks like it cuts off more off-road. It's just harder to exit. So you charge jump, then you use your mushroom, and you can hop over this entire piece of off-road. Now the lines coming out of it are kind of wonky. Maybe somebody can optimize that to make it the best place to use a shroom. I don't think that this is gonna be in any world records, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of a interesting idea that I had that I was surprised I could pull off. You can charge jump onto here, and you know, that's a pretty tight line. Didn't come out of it with a drift. Also, I am thrilled that Crown City is a 3-lap track. And you know, then there's the Sky High Sunday one. But yeah, you can ride the inner wall here. It looks a little slow coming out of it on that hop. And those are just some sick shortcuts that I found on day one. They're not just shrooming through off-road, like, they're complex. Maybe I'll do more videos about shortcuts. Maybe I'll do some gameplay. You can subscribe and find out. I don't know. This channel's very new.